Manic is Halsey's best album to date and one of the most underrated pop albums of the year. Yep, I said it, pop albums. The pop label is something Halsey has struggled with and denounced towards the beginning of her career. She was the anti-pop star pop star. Her views have seemed to change and she's more open to the label now. Earlier last year, she responded to a Twitter user that called her out about her old opposing opinions on the label. Halsey flexing her single as the #1 pop song as she simultaneously calls herself the anti-pop star, because she considers herself an alternative artist. It's just as frustrating as Billie Eilish calling her own music alternative trap. You make pop music. There's nothing wrong with that, the Twitter user said. Halsey responded by saying, "Part of being an artist is that I can subscribe to whatever brand of myself I wish. Anti-pop star is more about a mentality, I think. It has little to do with the genre, and more about denying the notion that female pop artists should succumb to the social expectations of the genre." Which I can agree with her about, and I'm glad her views on the label have changed. Point is, there's nothing else to it. Halsey is a pop star. And with Manic, she proves that she might be one of the more versatile ones. Manic is a mixed bag and lives up to its name quite well. It gives a bit of everything. Halsey's debut and sophomore releases were concept albums. Manic also feels like an album without a glitzy storyline. The songs flow like a stream of consciousness from Ashley's mind instead of the superstar that is Halsey. The album is titled Manic because of her bipolar disorder. She was also going through a manic episode while writing the album. She revealed in a Rolling Stone interview that she made whatever she felt like. It's hip hop, rock, country, and everything, because it's so manic, she told Rolling Stone. It's so manic, it's literally just like whatever the I felt like making. There was no reason I couldn't make it. And that would explain the versatility on this album. The album's subject matter is primarily rooted in heartbreak, sadness, and a troubled relationship. However, Halsey does a lot of self-reflection on this album as well. It's not just "you broke my heart and I hate you," even though that message is prevalent on some of the songs throughout the record. She opens the album with Ashley, which is Halsey's actual name. The title alone alludes to the record being vulnerable, stripping away who the world knows her as to let us into who she actually is. It sets the tone of vulnerability. The song is a bit morbid, but also an ode to her fans. She explores her death and the legacy she'll leave behind. She follows this up with Clementine, which is one of her most well-written songs. Clementine sees her claiming her independence, but also coming to the realization that she is in fact codependent on the validation of others, as she repeats throughout the song, "I don't need anyone, I just need everyone and then some." Graveyard is classic Halsey fare. It's a radio hit and the instrumentation of this song is much happier than the lyrical content. Considering the lyrics for the song, precisely where she says, "The warning signs can feel like they're butterflies," it gives the impression that the song's instrumentation is supposed to feel like the butterflies, and the lyrics in the chorus is the reality of her toxic longing. She says, "I won't stop till I get where you are. Oh, when you go down all your darkest roads, I would've followed all the way to the graveyard." You Should Be Sad is a standout track on the album. Halsey fully dives into country pop. It's a breakup anthem, where she expresses consolation with the outcome of a failed relationship. As the album progresses, she self-reflects a lot more. The song Forever is a Long Time, according to Halsey, is given that title because it showcases the journey of falling in love and then sabotaging it with your own paranoia and insecurity. That's why the music modulates from major to minor. I Hate Everybody is another song that could quite literally sum up Manic's theme. If I can make you love me, maybe you can make me love me. And if I can't make you love me, then I'll just hate everybody, she says. It's probably one of the most simple lyrics on the album, but the message of the song sums up the album quite well. Then we have Without Me, which is now one of her signature songs and one of her best. 3 AM is a full dive into pop rock, where she reveals that she's too much for some of her friends and family, and calmly turns to drinking for support. On the second half of the album is where all of the collaborators come into play. FIKE on DOMINIC'S Interlude appears to be talking about stealing Halsey from her no good man. Or better yet, it could be from Halsey and DOMINIC'S perspective, talking to a girl they admire that is with a trash guy. SUGA'S Interlude is rapped entirely in Korean, while Halsey is singing in between the verses. The subject matter revolves around loneliness, and probably the most unexpected collaborator on this album is the iconic Alanis Morissette. It's a sexual song featuring the embrace of same-sex love. The album closes with 929, and this song she reflects on her career, life, and struggles. She begins the song by telling her birthday and time, which was at 9:29 a.m. on 9/29. She says it with assurance and convinces the audience that she's not lying. She ends the song with uncertainty and confirms that after she looked at her birth certificate, that she wasn't born at 9:29 a.m. on 9/29. She was actually born at 9:26 a.m. on 9/29, and she ends it off by saying that she's a liar, which is a more comical take but also adds to the raw messiness of the album. This album is truly a career-defining album for her, and her best work to date by miles. It's a substantial improvement and her most versatile. It doesn't feel cringeworthy or over-dramatized like some of the moments within her last records, which were conceptual, but I feel like they lack the rawness that this album has. They felt a little bit over-dramatized, especially with some of the visuals. Halsey may be so unlikable at times, but Ashley is vulnerable, honest, raw, and an open book with chapters filled with many different emotions, soundscapes, and experiences.